Hey guys, it's Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and we have the Newsy News Nooner. I know everyone is watching the Murdaugh stuff, and there's other stuff going on. So if everyone is on the replay crew, that is a-okay. Rumble should be coming up sometime because I do have Rumble going, allegedly. Let's hope that that's going to go up. Allegedly. We have no idea. Thank you, Eris, for doing all the Modly Mod stuff. We have all the things going on today. There is an update on the Rex Heuermann case, so let's look into that. Accused killer Rex Heuermann is linked to the last Gilgo 4 victim via his daughter's DNA on a discarded coffee drink. So just when you thought this dingbat couldn't get any grosser, well... Look, I only lift from the best, and I love Nerdrotic, so I'm stealing from him, Jason J. And Rumble is allegedly supposed to be working, but it is not, so I have no idea. Thank you, Iris. I always want to say Irish now because of Baker. Thank you so much. Absolutely loving my crop top. It's my favorite crop hoodie. It says, "Don't worry, laundry, no one's doing me either," which is always the best thing, you know. Accused Long Island serial killer Rex Heuermann has been tied to the slayings of women known as the Gilgo Beach Four through DNA, including a sample from his daughter's discarded coffee drink later or after investigators followed her onto an LIRR train, prosecutor said Tuesday. It is okay, no problem. Look, I made it a single entendre. It's okay. Heuermann, 60, was named in a new indictment unsealed in Suffolk County Court, charging him with the murder in the death of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, the last of the four former escorts. What about just women? How about we just call them women? Whose remains were found along the Sound shore in 2010 and whose killings remained unsolved for 13 years. Investigators linked Brainerd Barnes' murder to Heuermann via DNA from a female hair found on her body after samples were collected from the suspect's wife, Asa Elrup, and their 26-year-old daughter, Victoria. Both women were out of town when all four of the murders took place, including in Atlantic City when Brainerd Barnes was killed, the indictment notes. So I love how they have to continue to follow the poor wife and daughter to collect DNA samples because this guy is a lumbering Shrek. I believe so. There are more murders that they believed he could be linked to. There were other bodies that were adjacent to the beach. So there was like the beach, and then a side beach that also has a male subject, I think several more females, and a toddler. Now, I could be wrong about that. I have no idea why Rumble's not working. Look, I am only technically skilled at one thing, turning things on. Heuermann allegedly texted the women when his wife and kids were out of town. Oh, now it's working. For the love of Cheetos and all that is holy. And conducted sick online research or searches, prosecutor said, quote, very skinny white teens tied up, grossness, tied up, fluffy girl grossness, medieval torture of women, and, quote, how I was graped audio were among the searches. He sounds like a peach. He only looks like Shrek on the outside. Not. Investigators also found, quote, a collection, end quote, of violent bondage and torture porn on Mr. Heuermann's electronic devices and used his computer to contact these women he's now accused of killing using the name Andy or Andrew, his middle name. Quote, "Hi, I saw your ad and wanted to see if we could set something up later," Hierman allegedly texted one of his victims on March 1st, 2020. "I don't CG for the day," the escort answered. "Does tomorrow work?" Hierman allegedly replied, "I'm working all day. I was free today. My wife is out for the day, working Monday." Elrup and Victoria Herman were in court for Tuesday's arraignment but did not speak to reporters. Rex Hierman pleaded not guilty to the new charges. Well, how's that going to go for you, sir? Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney last year identified the hulking New York City architect as the prime suspect in Brainerd Bard's death and told the Post in November that his office was very close to linking Hierman to her case. Hierman has been held without bail since his arrest in July on charges that he murdered the other 3 victims and dumped them along the shore. Brainerd Barnes was 25 when she went missing on July 9th, 2007, the first of the Gilgo 4 to go missing. When her body was found on December 13th, 2010, Brainerd Barnes was reportedly bound with a belt with the initials WH, which prosecutors have suggested may have belonged to Hierman's late grandfather, William Hierman. So you took a family heirloom and put it on one of your victims? You are so gross. And just a little recap. So, suspected serial killer Rex Hierman, a New York City architect and married dad of 2, was arrested in connection with the long unsolved Gilgo Beach murders. The arrest is tied to the so-called Gilgo 4, women found wrapped in burlap within days of each other in late 2010. The years-long investigation that led to the arrest revolved around the discovery of more than 10 sets of human remains along Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach in Suffolk County between December 2010 and April 2011. Most of the victims were petite female women who traded money for the smexy times, with green or hazel eyes, but there were also 2 exceptions, a 2-year-old girl and a young Asian man. Melissa Bartholomew, 24. Bartholomew worked in that profession. She lived in Unionport section of the Bronx and dreamed of one day opening her own beauty salon. She was last seen alive in her basement apartment on Underhill Avenue on July 12th, 2009. I do like that they're adding a little bit more about these women because in a lot of articles they just have sex worker. And look, these were someone's daughter, sister's mother, child, something. And really, it's getting a little tiresome that these were victims and the first thing we read about them is what they did. Which I get, but come on, can we give them a little dignity in death? Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25. Brainerd Barnes was living in Norwich, Connecticut. She went missing after taking an Amtrak train from New London, Connecticut to Grand Central Terminal in Manhattan on July 6, 2007. Now, Rex Hierman did have an office located in Manhattan. Amber Lynn Costello, 27. Costello was addicted to substances and lived in West Babylon, New York. At a home with a woman and 2 men, she advertised on Craigslist and Backpage to support her and her roommates' substance abuse issues. Costello was found in December 2010 after having been last seen leaving her home that September. Let's see. Megan Waterman, 22. Waterman was a 22-year-old mom of 1, last seen June 6, 2010. She lived in Scarborough, Maine, and earned a living as a woman who exchanged money for things. She was last seen by her family boarding a New York-bound... I don't want that. For the love of Cheetos, don't do that. A New York-bound Concord Trailways bus in Maine. Her body was found on December 13th, 2010, on the north side of Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach. There are thoughts that he might have done more things in other states. I believe he does have a property in South Carolina. I haven't dug too deeply into this case, but there are thoughts that he's done more and possibly had more victims over a longer period of time. Um, this might have been something that happened. They're not quite sure when this started. And there was a lot of police corruption. I have done several articles that go through. There's a great deal of police corruption that was in the police department that was trying to cover this case. The police chief actually got hauled in by the feds and went to federal prison because he actually had his police officers stop looking at this case because he was afraid that it would draw federal attention in and would get him in trouble and more scrutiny from the feds. Jessica Taylor, 20, excuse me. Remains belonging to Jessica Taylor, a 20-year-old woman working as an escort in New York City, were found in a wooded area in Maynardville on July 26, 2003. Her additional remains, initially labeled Jane Doe number 5, were discovered March 29, 2011 along Ocean Parkway. Valerie Mack, 24. Valerie Mack was found was 24 years old and living in Philadelphia when she went missing. She worked as an escort using the alias Melissa Taylor. Relatives last saw Mack in the spring or summer of 2000 in Port Republic, New Jersey, but she was never reporting missing to the police. Her partial skeletal remains were found in Maynardville in September 2000, were initially known as Jane Doe 6. Unidentified Asian man. The skeletal remains of a yet-to-be-identified Asian man were found along Ocean Parkway on April 4, 2011. It's estimated the man is between 17 and 23 years old at the time of his death. He was approximately 5 feet 6 inches tall with bad teeth. Peaches and her daughter. An African-American woman with partial remains were discovered in Hempstead Lake State Park back in 1997. She became known as Peaches because of a bitten tattoo of a peach on her left breast. On April 4, 2011, police discovered the remains of a toddler who was about 2 years old at the time of her death. DNA testing confirmed that one of the skeletons was that of a 2-year-old girl's mother, Peaches. Karen Vertigata, a victim previously referred to as Jane Doe number 7, has been identified as 34-year-old Manhattan woman Karen Vertaga. She is believed to have been missing since February 14th, 1996. 2 months later, her legs were found in a plastic bag at a park near Fire Island, Blue Point Beach. At the time of her disappearance, she was believed to have been working as an escort. And then Shannon Gilbert, who is really, I believe, the one who started this out. Her kind of disappearance, her story really started the whole search into this. Because she was the one that, some of the modalities are a little different. It might be that several people were using this as a dumping ground, which, two things can be true at the same time. This might just have been a convenient dumping ground, like when you had the Hillside Stranglers and the Night Stalker and the Toolbox Killers all working in LA at the same time. So it looked like you had, a bunch of people doing, random things all at the same time, kind of similar as in, women were being targeted, but it was different people. Gilbert was a Craigslist escort who worked in Jersey City, traveled with her driver, Michael Pack, from Manhattan to meet a client, Joseph Brewer at his home in Oak Beach Association on the morning of May 1st, 2010. She spoke with two neighbors before disappearing. Her body was discovered in a marsh near Oak Beach, about a half mile from where she was last seen on December 13th, 2011. Among the more than 10 sets of human remains eventually found along the desolate stretch of beach along Ocean Parkway between December 10th and April 11th, there are three other women who worked as escorts: Amber Lynn Costello, 27, Melissa Bartholomew, 24, and Megan Waterman, 22. They became known as the Gilgo Four. Brainerd Barnes grew up in Groyton, Connecticut, where she was a straight A student before dropping out at 17 after she got pregnant. New York Magazine said in a profile in July. She worked various jobs, including as a card dealer at Foxwoods Resort Casino, at a local ShopRite, and at a gas station, the magazine reported. In 2006, she replied to a modeling job ad in Manhattan and was soon working as an escort, selling her services on Craigslist in the city on Long Island. Her sister, Melissa Cann, told New York's Magazine that at the time, cops didn't take Brainerd Barnes' disappearance seriously when she went missing. Quote, I drove myself to the point where I didn't want to get up in the morning to brush my teeth. She said, I didn't want to go to sleep. I just wanted to figure out where my sister was. Cann could not be reached for comment on Monday. The first bodies were discovered while the police searched for another missing escort, Shannon Gilbert, a Jersey City woman who disappeared on May 2010 and had not been linked to Heuermann. John Ray, an attorney representing Gilbert's sisters, told the Post this week that they redacted with careful caution when they told of the new charges against Heuermann. Quote, let's not draw too many conclusions, Ray said. Let's keep the pressure on the police to do the right thing. Let's get this thing investigated. Let's not let's not let it drop because they now caught someone. There can be no such thing as closure, especially in Shannon's family, because the losses are so great, he added. The best one can say is that there might be a certain amount of an ability to accept that the murderers are on their way to being caught. That's about it. Heuermann, a married father of two from Massapequa Park, an architect with offices in Midtown Manhattan, is linked to three of the women through DNA found on a discarded pizza. Police later searched his home for additional evidence and removed a cache of guns kept inside. The murders remained unsolved for years until Rodney Harrison, a former NYPD chief, took over as Suffolk County Chief Police Commissioner in January 2022 and reopened the Gilgo Beach case, with Heuermann identified as the prime suspect within 2 months. They did a lot of cell phone data and stuff like that. I do believe I have a Lisk Beach or a Lisk Murders playlist, and their probable cause affidavit is actually really, really good. It has a lot of pictures explaining exactly how they kind of narrowed down that it was Rex Heuermann. I mean, honest to God, how the man didn't think he was going to be caught when he's like 6'7" and looks like... The guns don't have much to do with it, except that he had, well, a veritable arsenal, which really doesn't have much to do with anything else, except that he did seem to be mildly unsettling, but that's just that. In other lighter news, Jessica Simpson shows off wildly improbable and absolutely ridiculous $1,300 backless bedazzled jeans. And get a look at these. What the hell are these, y'all? What the actual hell are these? Those are not jeans. Those are ridiculousness. Not even on my worst laundry day am I wearing those, whatever those are. And they are $1,000 plus $300. That's just damned ridiculous. This open book is letting it all hang out. Jessica Simpson posed for a high fashion spread. Well, you spread something, madam. As Bustle's July cover star trading her signature Daisy Dukes for a pair of jeans, I don't think those words are what you mean. I don't think jeans mean the same thing to y'all as what they mean to me. With a built-in crystal thong. Her GCD half trousers, the brand's own words, originally retail for $1,305, but y'all, they're currently on sale. So for only $1,044, should you want to bare your bum bum in a sparkly style just like Jessica Simpson, you can get them for just about a cool grand. The daring denim pants, which were originally modeled by Amelia Hamlin in the label's runway show during Milan Fashion Week, were styled with a ribbed Calais de Mar bralette and briefs. Yeah, talk about never. Yeah, no, how about how to be arrested for indecent exposure? What the hell? Pretty much. Oh my God, could you imagine the Timu version of this? Epic. And I know she's supposed to not be drinking anymore, but she looks more drunk here than she has before. Elsewhere in the shot, the Newlyweds alum 42 poses in a white latex bra because, that's what I need to see is a 42-year-old in a white latex bra. Probably to the NFL, which I won't be watching. Yes. And briefs from Eliza Poppy and a cutout dress from Sir, all styled with layers of diamond jewelry from her own collection. I didn't even know she had a diamond collection. This might be the last time I'm wearing it, Simpson told Bustle of her beloved baubles in the accompanying interview, adding she might have to sell them. I don't have it in me to borrow money from my mother again, she added. Simpson famously bought back her namesake brand for $54 million in 2021 using her own home as collateral and admitted money's been tight since. Okay. I'm buying the brand back, I told her. If you're sure you want to do this, you're going to have to tighten your belt a little bit. You're going to not live quite as extravagantly, Simpson's mother, Tina, told the publication. It's willpower. Okay, so apparently, she's just being her. I don't know. I mean, look, Miss Simpson, I'm sure you're awesome. Look, you're bright enough to have your own brand. So there you go. Have fun with your assless chaps. In sad news, weight loss influencer Myla de Jesus dies at 35, leaving 4 children and a newlywed husband behind. Oh God, can we put Madonna out to pasture? I mean, y'all, for seriousness, do you remember when the scariest thing about grandma was trying to figure out which of the Tupperware things actually had, or which of the, country crock things had butter in it? Because you're like, nope, this one's got macaroni. Nope, this one's got meatloaf. Oh, we found the country crock. I mean, now we got Madonna doing God knows what with God knows where in a thong on a stage. It's just terrifying. Brazilian-born influencer and newlywed Myla de Jesus, who shot to fame after undergoing major weight loss transformation, has died of suspected cardiac arrest. Hey, no. As a 100-air, I am cool with repurposing all sorts of, plastic containers that companies have decided to give to me for purchasing their products. I do not put on airs. I am a hill chuck, okay? We do not put on airs over here. But that's the craziest thing I want to see at Granny's house. I don't want to see Granny coming out in her cone bra and like sparkly thong and singing, Papa Don't Preach. It's just, Granny, go home. You've got I'm sure she's got grandchildren somewhere, or she's got something she could do with her time. Learn to do something productive other than gyrate. It's just weird. The Instagram star, who was born in Brazil but lived in Boston, passed away Friday, 4 months after tying the knot with her husband, George Kowaczyk. Jam Press reported. She leaves behind four children from a previous marriage. Just months prior, content creator had announced she'd been suffering from psoriasis, a skin disease that causes a rash with itchy, scaly patches since July. Okay, so they probably would have put her on prednisone, which is a steroid. Quote, it's been 3 months dealing with this situation. 80% of my body is affected, De Jesus wrote in October Instagram post to her nearly 60,000 followers, juggling doctors, medications, ointments, and taking a deep breath. That's possible too. Yeah, that's not pleasant. 6 years ago, the Bahana-born content creator underwent a major weight loss surgery, which she commemorated in November Instagram post juxtaposing a picture of herself before and after the procedure. 6 years since a decision that changed my life in various aspects, De Jesus captioned the composite. On one side, the 22-year-old Mila, on the other, the 35-year-old Mila. The influencer's followers, friends, and family members were devastated over her loss. Quote, root follower here since the beginning of YouTube, wrote one crestfallen fan. So sad, my God, a lot of light. Mila, rest in peace. I'm trying to see. My guess is they will not have a cause of death for a while, but I do know there's a lot of issues, and steroids can put a lot of strain on your body. If she was dealing with, and if she has psoriasis, they will put her on steroids. It can lower your ability to fight infections. So if she did catch something and her immune system was depressed, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. As not a doctorologist, that's all I can say about that. In hilarious news, because Valentine's Day is creeping ever closer, a Chicago man sues 27 women over negative reviews in a Facebook group, calling him clingy and a ghoster. How can you be both clingy and a ghoster? I mean, those two things seem like they're mutually exclusive and inversely related to one another. But okay. A Chicago man is suing dozens of women for $75 million. Aim high there, you glorious, glorious man. After they wrote negative reviews on a Facebook page describing him as clingy, claiming his reputation has been harmed. Nico D'Ambrosio, 32, said his name and photo were shared on the private, quote, we are dating the same guy Facebook page, according to a lawsuit filed in the Northern District of Illinois. I'm just trying to figure out how you can be both clingy and a ghoster. How can you do the same things? How can you be a clingy ghoster? Like, sir, like, I really love you. And then he just, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then he doesn't respond to you. He has nice arms. He picked a salmon shirt. I'm confused about that. He's wearing his hat backwards. I mean, on the resting douche-meter face, it's about a 4 out of 10. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever seen as far as resting douche face. So, having never met the gentleman myself, I can't give objective, but let's please God, let them air this hearing, and please God, let it be a woman judge, and please God, let me stream it. He is suing 27 women, saying he has been subjected to defamation, doxing, and invasion of privacy. Quote, the defendants broadcasting their outrageous, cruel, and malicious lies about the plaintiff with knowledge that statements are false or with reckless disregards as whether or not they're true, the complaint states. In Indiana, we're dating the same guy is how most of us skirt having to pay for expensive DNA tests to find long-lost siblings. Well, and it makes family reunions easier to plan. I mean, in addition, a man and a Facebook parent Meta are named in the lawsuit. The social media page describes itself as a community of, quote, red flag awareness groups across the country where women empower each other to keep each other safe from, quote, toxic men, end quote. The lawsuit claims the page has subgroups across the country that allow users to attack the character of men they've met online. Oh God, the biddy corner goes on the internet. Thousands of men have been potentially defamed by members of the group via these online publications and remain entirely unaware of the attacks on their characters as a result of the social media group's private status and heavily moderated members list, the suit says. In his complaint, D'Ambrosio said the defendants made false and defamatory statements about their experiences dating him. He alleges the posts led to, quote, personal humiliation, mental anguish and suffering, emotional distress, stress, anxiety, and lost earnings. Would you like a puppy? Get a helmet. Life is hard. In the filing, he said he met a woman at a cultural event in Chicago and they had the smexy time that same night. Afterward, the pair went on to have a few unremarkable dates and that they never engaged in an exclusive dating relationship. The woman then allegedly posted on the Facebook group saying that D'Ambrosio became very clingy very fast, flaunted his money, and kept talking about how I don't want to see his bad side, especially when he was on business calls. She also allegedly published a picture of D'Ambrosio. Several women commented on the post, claimed to have had several or similar experiences with him. Quote, I went out with him a few times over a year ago. He told me what I wanted to hear until I split with him. Then he ghosted. I'd steer clear, one commenter wrote. Quote, he's been posted here before. The poster said he sent her a slew of texts calling her names because she didn't want to spend the night with him, another wrote. The woman who wrote the post shared it under her real name, but later deleted it and reposted it on the Facebook page anonymously after D'Ambrosio's attorneys contacted her in December, the lawsuit said. Quote, their wrongful conduct is so outrageous in character and so extreme in degree that it is beyond all possible bounds of decency as to be regarded as atrocious and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. Are you kidding me, sir? For the love of all... Again, get your big boy panties on, maybe underoos. It'll be okay. Look, this is no different than the local, I don't know, beauty shop where, everyone would know everyone's business. I'm sorry, you're a horrible person. Look, you are engaging in hookup culture. What do you expect? If you're not meeting wifey, I don't know what you want. Hello, Christine. I hope you're having a lovely day. This seems like an overblown mess. I don't know how you're going to get 75 million from 27 women and Facebook, but I assume that Facebook lawyers are going to look at your lawsuit and laugh. But have fun. That I mean, this seems like something that would be hilarious to stream. Apparently someone swatted the White House. Who knew? Oh, well, I hope you stay safe and warm, Christine. It is very, very cold out here, but it is not snowing. A person falsely called in a fire at the White House in an apparent swatting event. A person called 911 Monday morning falsely claiming there was a fire at the White House and that someone was trapped inside. Multiple units from Washington's Fire and Emergency Medical Department responded just after 7 a.m. Eastern Time, and officials determined that it was a false alarm. Oh, nuts, Eris. Honestly, I'd actually wish that we'd get more snow because when the skies are clear, there's not an insulating cloud cover, so it gets just colder. And officials determined it was a false alarm. While no law enforcement team was dispatched, quote, it's the same in the same spirit of swatting incidents that have increasingly targeted public officials in the recent weeks, said Noah Gray, communications director for Fire and EMS. So-called swatting incidents are when someone makes a false report of a crime in progress to draw police to a certain location. It is unclear who made the call or where it came from. A Secret Service spokesperson said any fire at the White House would have been detected immediately, and there clearly wasn't one. Oh, yipes. It's, I think, 3 degrees here. Hello, Veilhammer. President Joe Biden was at Camp David, Maryland when the call to 911 was made. He later traveled to Philadelphia to participate in a service event at a food bank to mark the birthday of late civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. In recent weeks, there have been a spate of swatting attacks against high-profile officials, including Special Counsel Jack Smith, U.S. District Judge Tanaya Chudakan, judges on the Colorado Supreme Court, and lawmakers such as Marjorie Taylor Greene. The judge that's in charge of the Trump case was targeted last week, as was New York Judge Arthur Aragon, who is presiding over former President Trump's civil fraud case. On the day of closing arguments in the trial, Thursday, a call was made about a bomb threat at Aragon's house on Long Island. A Nassau County police spokesman said officials are investigating it as a swatting event. The FBI created a national online database last year to track such swatting events. Oh, does that mean you'll get to finding out who did like the 20 to 25 plus, swatting events at Tim Pool's house? You ever going to get on that? Or because, he doesn't say what's absolutely approved. We will look at that, but but it'd be nice, or whoever called at the Quartering's house, you know, or whoever called at Stick's house a couple weeks ago. I mean, if you can't tread water or if you pull a hamstring, then yes. Or those little arm floaties are a fashion forward accessory for all, I think. Let's see. No thanks. No, this isn't the one. All right, so can't remember if this actually, no, it doesn't show the actual video. Never mind. Nope. Aha. Let's hopefully this will, no, in In following along with the New York Post being a total dingleberry, we will get to the photo of this former Kentucky police officer who looks like he had a very unfortunate ride to the police office. But former Kentucky cop was charged with absolute grossness with a 14-year-old buying a toy for the sick abuse. But I would like you to look at this mugshot. Now, y'all, I'm not saying that this happened on the way there, but this man done tripped and fell and tripped and fell a whole lot. And I'm not saying I approve, but I approve. If he did, look, I believe we have a one-way ticket to Snake Island for this gentleman. A retired Kentucky police officer was hit with rape and grossness charges after he allegedly admitted to assaulting a 14-year-old victim on multiple occasions, even buying a toy for the abuse. Radcliffe resident David Roy Love, 69, was arrested on January 4th by Kentucky State Police following an investigation into the alleged perv. Local newspaper The News Enterprise reported. Love reportedly admitted to the inappropriate relationship during a non-custodial interview, arrest records show. The abuse began in early October when the victim was still just 13 years old. Now, please God, tell me that the father got a couple good whacks in, allegedly in Minecraft YouTube, or the mama just, happened to have a shovel around. I'm just saying, look, if I found out, now, there's a cliff near my house. I'm just saying. Good afternoon, Wolfram. The ex-cop said he received... Look, let's skip to this mugshot because I don't want to hear what grossness he did. In his mugshot, the 6-foot-tall Love's face appears to be badly bruised and swollen, while his head was wrapped in gauze and bandages. I'm going to look around for any F's I should give about this. Nope, I am all fresh out of dams. All fresh out of dams to give about him having his face all burnt up, and I don't care. I hope someone whacked him in the head with a shovel. Sources told the Post that Love is suffering from cancer and his mugshot appearance was an effect of the radiation treatment that he was receiving. Well, that just breaks my heart. I'm going to go ahead and believe that he just got whacked in the head with a shovel. The former officer also reportedly confessed to having CP on his personal tablet and sending it through Facebook. He later deleted it to hide the evidence. Love was charged with second-degree rape, second-degree grossness, tampering with evidence. He was released from Hardin County Detention Center the following day, posting $25,000 bond. Sir, I don't say this lightly, but you have a very noticeable face. And you are alleged to have done something very gross. I would stay very close to your home. And don't tempt the Jesus of any one of your fellow neighbors, okay? 'Cause Snake Island with you, sir. In other news, a bride and a groom spent their wedding night in a hospital after the venue floor collapsed, sending them plummeting 13 feet. That is not a honeymoon that I would like to have. Because, well, I mean, Ideally, I'd like to have a honeymoon where we didn't take the kids home after my wedding, but, when you get married and you already have 3 kids, life's already rolled the dice on that one. A bride and groom spent their wedding day in the hospital after a section of a historic venue in Tuscany collapsed on Saturday night. Uh, Pablo, oh, you know what? Something foreign, and his Italian bride, Valeria, something else, both 26, hosted some 150 people for their wedding at the former, look, at a former convent in Italy, according to a local publication. According to the newspaper, a little before 8 p.m., as the 60 or so remaining attendees were dancing, the floor collapsed, sending the guests along with the newlyweds plummeting through the floor. Mail Online reported that the guests fell 13 feet. The groom told the doctor, quote, everyone was happy, end quote, before the floor unexpectedly gave in. Well, y'all, this is just like marriage. Look, everything's going great. Then the water heater explodes. It's a great analogy. Quote, suddenly I found myself in another dimension, in the void. Also a great analogy for marriage. I'm just kidding. Marriage is lovely. I just had my 13th anniversary. I'm just joking. In a moment, I heard bodies falling on me along with rubble and all kinds of dust, splinters. According to the newspaper, he said he saw his best friend with a bloody wound on his head, and he started calling out for his new wife, fearing the rubble had buried her. The couple was reunited and admitted to a nearby hospital where they were both treated for bruises. According to the local health authority, they were discharged a few hours later. From their adjoining hospital bed, the couple told the news outlet, we were very scared. Aww. According to the news release by Tuscany's local health authority, 39 people needed medical treatment. According to local health authority reported, more severe injuries among the guests, with 28 individuals still in the hospital the next day. 2 were in intensive care, including a child. Oh, but their conditions were not life-threatening. Several guests were assessed for potential broken bones, and a pregnant woman who fell was being investigated by obstetricians and gynecologists, the local health authority said. A waitress at the event, identified only as Jenny, told the newspaper that the venue was enveloped in dust, making it hard to see the full scale of the disaster. We heard screams and desperate people crying, she told the newspaper. The owners of the venue told the publication that they didn't understand how the collapse happened, describing it as a tragic and unpredictable event, and that they would cooperate with any investigations into the incident. Well, one day Mr. Moe and I will renew our vows, and we will go home on our honeymoon. And actually, we will not go home. We will go on a cruise on our honeymoon without our children. It will be a miracle, a Christmas miracle. In other news, if you try to buy the Queen's walking stick, it was not real. It was a fraud, and get your money back. A man who claimed to be selling Elizabeth II's walking stick is sentenced to fraud. As you do. A 26-year-old man who tried to sell what he claimed was a walking stick used by the late Queen Elizabeth II has been sentenced for defrauding by eBay buyers. Drew Marshall from Hampshire in southern England claimed he was a senior footman at Windsor Castle and that the proceeds from the sale of the antler walking stick would go to cancer research. The auction had reached £540 or $686 in freedom units. I know, she could have touched it once. I mean, she has like 673 corgis and how many walking sticks? I mean, goodness knows she's got one weird son who doesn't sweat and has a flipper, allegedly. I mean, don't come at me, Prince Andrew. Look. before he canceled the listing after learning police had launched an investigation. God, I love it. You know, England, it's not like knife crime is up. It's not like a bunch of crimes are up, but you have time to investigate a dude who's trying to just, make a little side hustle and sell the Queen's not the Queen's walking stick. But you're like, well, yeah, I mean, ugh. Yeah, besides, I'm creeped out by puppets, like most normal people. Unless it's Jeff Dunham and it's Peanut, but still, not for the smexy times, like most normal people. But, you know, still, M Metro London, knife crimes are up the yin yang. You have all sorts of criminal things going on. But what you have to investigate is some dude just trying to make a little bit of scam money on the Queen's walking stick. Okay. He was found guilty of fraud by false representation at the Southampton Magistrates Court and sentenced on Monday to a 12-month community order. So I believe a community order is kind of like our probation. So basically, he just has to kind of keep his nose clean, make sure he doesn't, do anything else worse. And I think keep in touch with his probation officer and do some community service. I could be very wrong about this, but I believe that is how the British justice system works. Either that or he has to go be tortured by dementors. Look, I'm very basic in my British, Commonwealth knowledge. Drew Marshall used the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II to try to hoodwink the public with a fake charity auction fueled by greed and a desire for attention. Julie Macy, a senior Crown prosecutor, said Marshall's scheme was ultimately foiled before he could successfully con any unsuspecting victims. Well, you guys have saved the world. Merry Christmas. Now, this is a sad story, but I just have one question, which is how the hell did Lurch get out of the Addams family? Y'all, how the hell did parents, and of course come on, y'all, we know it. We knowed it. We done knowed it. It's Florida man and Florida woe man. 'Cause of course it is. And then does anyone know when the Sarah Boone hearing is? Or I've tried to find it on the internet. Married couple in Florida has been arrested after they allegedly were just awful to their 2-month-old son to within an inch of his life, leaving the newborn with 18 broken ribs and permanent brain damage. And these a-holes are gonna say like, no, he fell off the couch. That what had happened is he just rolled off the couch. We don't know. Okay, I was thinking someone said it was today, but maybe I'm wrong. Thank you so much, future Mrs. Martin. Stephen Michael Palmer, 42, Lurch, and his wife, Tina Joy Palmer, not Morticia, 37, were both taken into custody on Friday and charged with 1 count each of child neglect resulting in great bodily harm. Both of you should just be sent directly to Snake Island. This is why I'm not a judge. Additionally, Stephen Palmer is facing 1 count of aggravated child abuse or torture resulting in great bodily harm. According to a probable cause affidavit obtained by Miami NBC affiliate WTVJ, emergency medical personnel on the morning of January 3rd, 2023, responded to a call regarding to an unresponsive infant at Edwards Apartments, a housing unit located in the 900 block of Collins Avenue. Stephen Palmer reportedly called 911 when he found his son unconscious while his wife was at work. He later told the police he first saw his son that morning. He had blue-colored lips. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders reportedly located the victim and performed CPR as they rushed him to Mount Sinai Medical Center. Doctors were able to resuscitate the child, but due to the severity of his condition, he was intubated and airlifted to the pediatric intensive care unit at Nicholas Children's Hospital for more specialized treatment. Medical personnel contacted Miami-Dade police department and notified police that the victim's injuries presented a level of concern that was consistent with regular physical abuse, WTVJ reported. The boy suffered 18 rib fractures, many of which were in different stages of healing. So the first things the parents are probably going to do are going to be to defend and say, oh, well, that happened because of the CPR. But because they're in different stages of healing, that's going to be negated right there. The fractured right hand, along with a brain bleed, neurological damage, and visibly bruised and swollen left testicle that was hemorrhaged. What the Excuse me, I don't generally curse, but what the actual fuck is wrong with you people? Excuse me. Excuse me. Additionally, doctors reportedly told investigators that the brain injuries suffered by the newborn were likely to cause permanent scarring. Quote, it was noted that these injuries were not consistent with CPR and were deemed highly suspicious for non-accidental trauma indicative of severe physical abuse, police wrote in an affidavit per WTVJ. Yeah, sir, okay, Lurch, how the hell are you going to explain the testicle other than you look like you can't be allowed near schools? Allegedly. Look, I can deal with a lot, but when you kids and you look like Lurch from freaking no. No, you should go out of your way to be an extra good human being when you look like Lurch from the Addams Family, because Lurch was like the best one in the freaking Addams Family. He was the nice guy. He never really said anything, but he always had the family's needs like on hand. But these two, Snake Island. Yup. In interviews with the victim's parents, both Stephen and Tina Palmer allegedly said they had no idea how their son suffered his near-fatal injuries. Stephen Palmer did note that since his wife worked two different jobs, he was the boy's primary caregiver. WPLG reported he allegedly told police detectives that he believed his son had colic, which caused the boy to run a fever, throw up, and cry more than usual. However, he was reportedly unable to explain the events that occurred prior to finding the victim unresponsive. Stephen Palmer also added that his son may have suffered a litany of injuries because he was, quote, very fragile. Yes, babies are very fragile. Yes. They're babies. They're fragile. WTVJ reported Tina Palmer reportedly told police that her son had been acting fussier than usual. Yeah, probably because he had so many fractures. You'd probably cry if you had multiple fractures that were, in stages of healing. And also reiterated, she allegedly said she thought his behavior was due to her son drinking less milk than normal, which caused him to be excessively congested. These two are morons. I mean, come up with a story that's not stupid. You guys dead ass looked in a detective's face and said, I'm pretty sure it's because he had colic. as the woman that's had 6 children, no, no. And look, I'm going to be real with you. If you are a parent thinking about becoming a parent, you know, anything, look, there are going to be times where your baby is just going to cry, and it's okay to be frustrated. Walk away. Put the baby somewhere safe in a bassinet. It's okay to walk away. Put them somewhere safe. Give yourself a timeout. I tell my kids sometimes all the time, look, if you've met my feral one, I need multiple timeouts a day. But, you know, it's okay to teach your kids that sometimes parents need to reset too. But, you know, it is okay if you are getting frustrated to give yourself a timeout and not do whatever the hell these two inbred ridiculous idiots did to their kid. That's all I'll say about that. Because otherwise I'll take a trip to Florida. Allegedly. In other news, this showed up at the Emmys. Just when you thought it was safe to go to Hollywood again, they revealed their real costumes under their costume. I never knew this is what Nancy Pelosi looked like under all that makeup, but I had guessed. Don't come at me, Nancy. I just want some stock tips, ma'am. Mysterious Green Goblin puzzles viewers on the Emmy red carpet, but who is the reality star behind the look? Probably someone I don't know and never watched. Because if it's not Young Sheldon, which I'm currently binging, then I don't, or, Carl Sagan from Cosmos, I probably don't know you. This reality star caused quite a stir when she dressed up as the Green Goblin while attending the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards on January 15th. And still no clue. I did, but as I don't understand sports ball or the Emmys, you got me. Let's see. While attending the star-studded show, reality TV star Princess Poppy showed up as a scary monster, which caused a bit of awe and confusion among viewers at home. While her fellow castmates dressed to the nines, RuPaul's Drag Race star Princess Poppy showed up dressed head to toe in a green ensemble that also included pop culture references like Jabba the Hutt, Roz from Monsters, Inc., and a witch from 1985's Tom Cruise The Legend. The outfit played as exactly as she thought it would. Okay. I wanted to do the exact opposite of what is expected of you when you go to an event like this. Mission accomplished. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. Okay, but if you're in a drag race, aren't you... Look, y'all, I'm trying to be a good person, but I cannot do the algebra of your uniqueness all the time. And the rules keep changing, and I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but y'all are making this complicated, and I got bills to pay and kids to feed. So this is, y'all need to figure things, y'all need to simplify yourselves, okay? Mainly, I wanted to be a troll/hag. I wanted to be so shocking that you just have to turn around and look at me in the worst way possible. The over-the-top ensemble may have been, it was quite apropos as Drag Race continued its reality television domination at the Emmy Awards. The long-running series won Outstanding Reality Competition Program. During his acceptance speech, the show's host, RuPaul, also took a moment to send out a call to action. Oh, God. No, we're not doing that one. But there you go. So, apparently this person performs stars on RuPaul's Drag Race. So, there you go. That's hopefully not how they dress on all the things, but maybe there's some monster drag. Look, I'm sure if there's a genre for it, if there's a thought about it, there is a genre for it. The answer is always 42. So 42 miles an hour, Hammer. That is my last story for this Newsy News Nooner. I hope you guys are all staying warm, staying safe and healthy, and everything is going well. The saga of the missing backpack, it is very likely in the dump or on the roof, which both things could be possible in this house. Let's be honest, we have met my feral child. He could have thrown it on the roof rather than doing his homework. I get to go do some laundry and have fun with that, and then I will see you guys for nightly Newsy News. Now, tomorrow morning, there will not be Mornings with Mo and Fry because I will be at my best friend, the dentist. And then tomorrow evening, instead of doing Newsy News, we will be doing a replay of the oral arguments for the Delphi case because that will be going on tomorrow morning, I believe. If I've got my days right, which could be very possible that I don't, let's be honest. It's me, but I think I have my days right. And if you haven't kept up with that case, I did do a video and things have gone on in that case. Things are still going on in that case. It is going all the craziness. But suffice it to say, long story short, even the new defense attorneys are beginning to think that shenanigans are afoot. So have a wonderful day. I will see you guys tonight for the Newsy News, the nightly Newsy News. I will dig up some more craziness, some more weirdos, some more criminals, and we will try to make sense of this world together, or at least laugh at the absurdity, which is, you know, honestly, I feel like 2024 is carb loading for a big marathon, and it is just trying to get everything in 1 month, so I don't even want to know what's going to be up in February. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I will see you in a little bit. Bye, guys.